Hello and welcome to the introductory episode of the Pop Culture Retrospective Podcast, a show dedicated to reliving pop culture memories inspired by my sister. My sister and I came of age in the 1980s, 1990s, and early 2000s, and, without a doubt, pop culture played a huge role in our formative years and, let's be honest, our adult years as well. My name is Amy Lewis. I'm an educator, a mother, a wife, a daughter, a Disney geek, and for 36 years, I was blessed with having and being a sister. My sister was my first friend and best friend, and like many siblings, one of our favorite pastimes was to reminisce about all the music, movies, culture, fashions, and events that transpired during this unique period of time. In some way, I think most people have some kind of emotional attachment to the pop culture of their childhood or adolescence, and my beloved sister was no exception. She had an uncanny ability to remember very detailed information about our childhood. For example, she remembered details about my grandparents' house that no one else did. Maybe where a certain lamp could be found or where my grandmother's Shirley Temple plate collection hung. She remembered that my mom would hang the letter of the day on the refrigerator, which my mom did before my sister could even walk. She remembered how old she was when she got her first pair of stirrup pants and what birthday she was celebrating when she got her first Walkman. She remembered how when I started high school, my plan for my attire was to wear, a band shirt, maybe 9-inch nails with a flannel. She was truly our family's historian and a cultural encyclopedia. My sister was an artist, a comedic storyteller, a brilliant student, an inspiring teacher, a loyal friend, a thoughtful gift giver, and an incredibly talented writer. My sister was also plagued by a very serious mental illness for most of her life. In March of last year, my sister took her life. It brought an end to her many, many years of a deep, dark pain that I don't think I will ever fully understand, but I try to every day of my life. This show is dedicated to the memory of my big sister, Rebecca. Years before my sister passed away, one of my dreams was to co-host a podcast with her so that we could revisit the pop culture we were so fond of in our younger days. Unfortunately, that dream never came to fruition, but sometimes grief makes you realize that there are things you should still do, even if something or someone is missing. I have found over the years that everyone deals with grief differently. Some people find solace in gardening. Some people find comfort in talking with other people who have maybe gone through something similar. Some people write. Some people, seemingly out of left field, decide to start a podcast. For me, I find reliving happy memories of my sister when she was well therapeutic in a way because it helps me to focus on her life and not on her death. My hope with this podcast is to study and research the diverse array of pop culture topics that my sister was a huge fan of throughout her life. I want to dig deep into the things and people she was passionate about during her very short 38 years on this planet. I want to eat, breathe, and sleep the things that she was into and revisit the things and people I may have forgotten about. I want to learn the backstory, the story behind the story, the hidden secrets and fun facts of everything she loved, like the Golden Girls, Michael Bolton, and the Notorious B.I.G. We may even take a look at news and events that happened during this time or the things I was interested in that she poked fun at me for, i.e. my obsession with Dennis the Menace. I'm also intrigued by some of the lesser-known or obscure pop culture, such as the movie Return to Oz, and why that freaked me and my sister out so very much. Or shows from the very early days of Nickelodeon. Does anybody else remember today's special? Because I sure as heck do. And if you think a mannequin coming to life with the help of a magic hat in a department store sounds creepy, then you would be right. I know that there may be others out there who are feeling nostalgic for another time. That could be because maybe you yourself have experienced the loss of someone you grew up with or were close to, and maybe you just love to learn about pop culture. Perhaps you're a big fan of the 1980s, 1990s, and early 2000s like we are and were. And I think we can all benefit from having a break from the intensity of the situation we are in with the pandemic. What this pandemic has created almost feels like a time warp. So many kids and families are constantly outside, even in bad weather. For the first time in decades, I have seen people rollerblading. I've even seen several people skateboarding, myself included. I even saw a convertible Chrysler LeBaron whisk by the other day, I also saw a free pile with a fax machine in it. I'm talking the kind that had a phone built in. Yeah. These all seem like signs pointing to the need for this. Whatever your motivation is for tuning in, thank you. I hope you will find this journey to be intriguing, sometimes funny, and sometimes bittersweet. Welcome to the Pop Culture Retrospective Podcast with Rebecca in spirit and me, Amy. My mom used to always make me record the message on her answering machine, so clearly I must have the skills to host a podcast. Either that or she did not care for the sound of her own voice. I'm hoping it's the latter. Plus, I have the unique combination of a former Midwesterner, then Northeasterner accent. It's a good combination. If my sister was co-hosting this show like I had hoped, it would have been hard to tell us apart by our voices as they sounded very similar. But I digress. I read once that John Hughes wrote the screenplay for the classic film Ferris Bueller's Day Off as his love letter to the city of Chicago. This show will be my love letter to my sister. And to my dear Rebecca, if you can hear me, this is for you.